finally here. Maybe just talk about your expectations this week now that we're at the conclusion of the FedEx Cup.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very exciting week. I think there's a lot of buildup. I think especially we had last week off, and I think a much needed week off for most everybody, needing to get a little rest coming into this week. And it's an exciting week. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation, and you just got to, bottom line is you got to play good to do some good things, and you can't try to get ahead of yourself thinking about the FedEx Cup or anything like that, I don't think, and just try to pay attention to this tournament and play well here.
Some questions?
Steve, if it comes down to the last hole and the last putt, $11.35 million on a whatever footer, I can't comprehend that. I'm wondering whether you can get your lid around that one and what that might be like, since the way I think that's what they want.
Yeah.
Pretty incomprehensible.
Yeah, it really is, and I hadn't even thought about it until Steve Sands mentioned it out there with the Golf Channel. So, yeah, I hadn't even haven't even thought about it. But I'm sure you'll be just as nervous over that putt to win a golf tournament as if it was $1 million, if it's going to be compared to $11 million. I mean, I think the nerves are going to be shot anyways. But yeah, it's unbelievable that we're playing for this type of money, especially during these times. And but that's what they wanted, I think, and the excitement is here. And I think there's a lot of anticipation and excitement just for that reason, that somebody could come down to the last few holes to be playing for that sort of money.
Have you ever stood over one thinking, okay, this is worth X amount? Maybe those years when you were on the bubble on your card and trying to make a cut and cash your check. And most guys don't think about that component when they're out there, do they?
No, I don't. I don't know what most guys do, but I don't really pay attention to the money aspect of it until reading it in the paper the next day and see how much you either missed or made on that last hole. But you can wear yourself out thinking about stuff like that. At least I've just tried to do the best I can out there and shoot the lowest score I can.
Steve, this has been asked a lot, but now that you're on property, just the feeling of this tournament. It's not a major, but it is important. Where does it fit in the pecking order? And what are the factors that players look at about a tournament that makes them, whether this is high on the blood pressure meter or not?
Yeah. Well, I think since developing this FedEx Cup, I think this tournament has taken on a bigger importance. There's a lot more at stake here. First of all, the money, the prestige of winning the FedEx Cup. So I think it's taken on a bigger importance, if I just repeat myself. But and what was your second question?
Just what are the personalities, the variables of individual tournaments that, is it the golf course, is it the perks, is it the rewards, the paycheck?
Yeah, I think it's all of that. I think it's all that stuff put together. And like I said, when FedEx came on board and the tour came up with this format and the type of venue that we're at here at East Lake, I think adds to that. It's a great championship golf course. And then you put together all the accolades that go along with playing here, winning this tournament, and possibly winning the FedEx Cup. I think put all that together, and it makes the event pretty important.
And a follow-up to that, do you look at this week as the finish line of the season? The big heavy work is done, or because there's more events to play, the season never really quits?
I look at this as the finish line. I know that. I've been looking forward to this finish line for the last month, but this for me is the finish line. And there's still more events to play, but I've been typically a guy who have taken a lot of time off in the fall, and so I won't be playing in those fall series events, unfortunately. But it's a time I need to spend at home, and so I look at this as the end, and I still have the President's Cup. So. A couple of nice events to finish off the year and then get some rest.
This is probably a bad time to ask about Shanghai.
Excuse me?
Nothing. This doesn't get...
He does that every week.
Talked about a lot, but there's a mathematical chance this week that at the end of the tournament, two guys could end up in a tie for the FedEx Cup, at which point you go to a sudden death playoff. You like that, or with such a large stake, do you think it should be a different type of maybe a 3-hole thing or what have you? We are talking about
10 million. You know, either way, I like the sudden death part of it. I think rather than the 3-hole playoff.
That's because you can putt.
Huh?
You're a good putter.
But still, I think the each shot and each hole then is very important when it's not that it isn't a 3-hole playoff, but you saw what happened at the British Open this year. You know, it kind of lost its luster there down the last couple holes, maybe the last hole. But you wouldn't have that in sudden death. You know, it's a finality to it. You know, with that possibly one hole, maybe more. But I like the sudden death aspect of it. Even though we're playing for that type of money, I still like, and I think it'd be very intriguing and very exciting to watch as well.